Have you ever wondered why some people seem to live peacefully and lightly in their old age? In contrast, others appear to be trapped in the relationships that are supposed to feel most familiar and comforting. Many believe that having a life partner to walk with them in their later years is a precious gift, a source of happiness. But the truth is, it's not always that simple. For many, a long-term relationship no longer brings the warmth it once did. Instead, it becomes an emotional burden, a constraint on personal freedom, and even a source of tension that makes growing old feel heavy and confined. Instead of feeling supported, they feel controlled. Instead of being heard, they find themselves staying silent just to keep the peace. These things don't happen dramatically or loudly, but they quietly wear down a person's spirit, like a kind of silent poison that steals the peace everyone deserves in the final chapter of life. If you've ever felt that maintaining a relationship at this age demands too much of your emotions, your freedom, know that you are not alone. Many people struggle with the same inner conflict, having someone by their side and being true to themselves. In today's video, we'll look honestly at the 5 main reasons why having a partner in old age, rather than being a peaceful harbor, can become a major challenge. But remember this, understanding these reasons doesn't mean you must close your heart to love or companionship. It simply means you'll see relationships with greater clarity and wisdom, so that if you choose to stay, it's because you truly want to, not because you fear being alone. And if you choose to walk away, you'll know you're moving toward freedom, not running from anything. Stay with us until the end of this video, because what we're about to explore might change how you view relationships in your later years, forever. Reason number 1. Emotional exhaustion from endless compromises. When we're young, compromise in love is often seen as a sign of maturity, a necessary skill to maintain a long-term relationship. We learn to yield, to adjust our egos, to blend with differences, believing that it's the price we pay for love and connection. Indeed, in many cases, that flexibility helps relationships weather storms and creates a strong foundation for lasting companionship. However, as time passes and you enter the later stages of life, what was once considered a virtue can quietly become a burden. The harmless concessions made over the years gradually become a list of things you've given up: a hobby, a personal space, a comforting routine. And then, at some point, you realize you've traded away too much, so much that you no longer recognize who you are or what truly makes you happy. In old age, people no longer seek intense experiences or the need to define roles in a relationship. What many deeply long for is simple: inner peace. A life where they don't have to strain to please someone else. A life where they can choose, freely and without needing permission. They want to sleep when they are sleepy, eat what they enjoy without judgment, and spend time on things that bring them calm and joy. This kind of freedom is not a sign of selfishness. It is a well-deserved reward for those who have spent their lives living for others, for their children, their partners, and society. The right to live authentically should be a top priority at this stage. No more compromising on every small decision. No more hiding personal needs just to avoid upsetting someone. And the moment you can live a single day in tune with your rhythm, without constraints, without adjusting yourself to fit in, without apologizing for simply being you, that's when you touch the deepest, most honest kind of freedom in old age. A quiet freedom, yet powerful enough to heal all the years that came before. Reason number 2. Financial and emotional pressures from late-in-life relationships. At the final stretch of life, many people carry a seemingly simple wish in their hearts: to have someone to walk with through the remaining days, share humble meals, and talk together on the porch during quiet late afternoons. They believe having a partner in old age will bring a sense of safety, love, and companionship, easing the quiet loneliness deep within. But reality, doesn't always match the beautiful vision they imagined. Entering a relationship in later life means stepping into a new world of emotions and responsibilities, from lifestyle adjustments and health needs to financial obligations. A relationship that arrives late in life, if lacking harmony, can easily become a burden. Not because anyone is at fault, but simply because both individuals have become used to living life in their way. And when those two worlds collide, silent tensions begin to surface. Many older adults find themselves in a bittersweet situation. What began as a desire for companionship gradually becomes a caretaker role, covering medical bills, sharing living expenses, and sometimes even supporting the children or grandchildren of a new partner. Arguments about money, property ownership, or even something as simple as who pays the electricity bill can drain one's spirit more than loneliness ever could. On the other hand, those who choose to remain single, though they may not have someone to talk to every evening, preserve something incredibly valuable: autonomy. They can spend according to their needs and desires without fear of judgment or conflict. They know exactly where their money goes, why it's spent, and most importantly, they don't have to justify their choices or try to please anyone else. Their material life may be modest, but the peace of mind they enjoy is something no amount of money can buy. After a lifetime of hard work and sacrifice, old age should be a time of rest, a time to come home to oneself, not a continuation of pressure, obligation, or prolonged sacrifice. So before entering a new relationship at this stage of life, ask yourself honestly, is this relationship truly offering companionship? Or is it slowly taking away the freedom you've spent your entire life building? Sometimes, peace doesn't come from having someone by your side. It comes from living in tune with the rhythm of your own heart, gently, freely, and without being influenced by anyone else. And if that's what you truly need, then choosing to be alone is not loneliness, it's courage. Reason number 3, the burden of caregiving, the silent shadow of companionship in old age. When we think of old age and long-term relationships, we often picture tender, poetic scenes. Two heads of white hair walking hand in hand on a quiet afternoon, simple meals filled with warmth, or a quiet moment leaning on each other on the couch, watching an old film that stirs up shared memories. It's a comforting image many dreams of, a gentle ending after life's many ups and downs. But there is another side of reality that not everyone is ready to face. The moment when a beloved partner falls seriously ill, and you, at a time when your own body is no longer as strong, suddenly bear a role that feels too heavy: caregiver, emotional pillar, and the one responsible for keeping everything running. You're no longer just a spouse. You become a full-time caretaker, surrounded by medications, sleepless nights, and constant, unspoken worries. Imagine waking up each morning not to begin a peaceful day, but to prepare medicine on time, assist with bathing, and wonder whether your partner's health will decline again today. Gone are the park strolls and the visits with friends. Your world shrinks into a space filled with illness and persistent fatigue. Studies have shown that elderly individuals who take on the role of caregiver for a sick partner face a significantly higher risk of depression, anxiety disorders, and rapid health decline. It's not just the physical workload, it's the emotional weight of feeling utterly alone within the relationship. No one fully understands. No one can step in. And often, no one even knows what they're going through. Physical exhaustion is only one part. The deeper pain is emotional, the slow fading of one's identity. Even more heartbreaking is what happens when the partner passes away, an inevitable part of old age. The one left behind must face immense grief and a vast emptiness within. They haven't just lost a loved one, they've lost themselves, worn down by years of caregiving just to keep the other person going. Meanwhile, those who live alone in old age, though they may sometimes feel a sense of loneliness, retain something profoundly important: the ability to put themselves first. They can schedule their doctor visits on time, rest when tired, and eat what they like without worrying about another's needs. They aren't forced to sacrifice their health to keep someone else alive. They can still love and still care, but from a place of freedom and choice, not obligation. No one denies the beauty of love, especially the kind nurtured over decades. But that love is only complete when both people have the strength to care for and uplift one another. When age has taken its toll, and one person is left to carry both the caregiving and their fatigue, it becomes a lonely and incredibly difficult path. That's why, sometimes, choosing to live alone is not a sign of loneliness. It's a conscious act of self-love and clarity. It's how you protect what remains of your life, so you can live gently, slowly, and fully in the way you truly deserve. Reason number 4, the emotional toll of endless compromise. Youth is often a time of adjustment, flexibility, and patience. When we love someone, we willingly adapt, altering daily habits or even reshaping long-term dreams to maintain harmony. But as the years go by, you begin to realize a fundamental truth. Your capacity to endure the little stresses of daily life isn't what it once was, and sometimes peace of mind is worth more than anything else. Being in a relationship in your later years still demands compromise, every day, every hour, in every situation. The smallest things, what to eat for dinner, whether to leave the nightlight on, whether to visit relatives, can turn into drawn-out debates. And the older you get, the more emotionally draining these repeated negotiations become. Unlike in youth, you no longer have the energy to constantly stretch yourself for someone else, especially when you too need comfort and care. Many people at this stage don't realize that the constant need to adjust emotionally, to be the peacemaker, the soother, the one who gives in, is a form of invisible burden. They live in a state of conflict, wanting to be true to themselves yet afraid of hurting others. And so daily, they sacrifice their small joys to keep the peace in a relationship that no longer offers mutual understanding. At this age, no one should feel guilty for simply wanting to live life on their terms. The truth may be hard to accept, but it must be spoken. A relationship that emotionally exhausts you is no longer a safe haven. It has become an invisible prison, where you lose your freedom in even the smallest decisions. Choosing to stay or walk away is not selfish. It is an act of awareness. If a relationship has become nothing more than a series of exhausting compromises, choosing to be alone to protect the peace of your soul may be the greatest gift you can give yourself in the final chapter of life. Reason number 5. In the old age, independence is the greatest gift, and many lose it without realizing. One of the most beautiful rewards of growing older is freedom. After decades of working hard, raising children, taking care of family, and trying to please everyone around you, you imagine that you've finally arrived at a stage where you can live for yourself. And yet, ironically, many people continue to find themselves bound by relationships, not out of pure love, but out of habit, a sense of duty, or fear of being alone. Even in happy relationships without conflict, personal independence is often slowly eroded. You check your partner's schedule before making plans. You hesitate to share your honest thoughts for fear of upsetting them. You adjust yourself, just a little, to maintain harmony. These may seem small, but they become invisible boundaries that limit true freedom. Even your way of thinking, something that feels inherently yours, can start to dissolve. You begin to think of we instead of I. Your viewpoints bend to fit a shared perspective. Your personal choices are filtered through how they might affect someone else, rather than simply being what you truly want. Living alone doesn't mean living in isolation. It means living without unnecessary restraints. It's the lightness of sleeping when you want, eating what you love without debate, and planning your day entirely on your terms, without compromising or asking for permission. Independence in old age is not selfishness. It is a well-earned gift for someone who has spent a lifetime caring for others. Don't let long-standing attachments blind you to the truth. You can live however you want. And sometimes, living alone is how you return to the most authentic version of yourself. No burden, explanations, or compromises. Just you, and the freedom you've waited a lifetime to touch. As you grow older, every decision you make is no longer just a choice. It becomes a declaration of what truly matters to you. At this stage of life, time is more precious than ever, and how you spend each day determines the quality of life. Many still believe that having someone by your side is essential. That companionship is what completes old age. But the truth isn't so simple. Having someone next to you doesn't automatically mean happiness. On the contrary, if the relationship is filled with draining compromises, control, or outdated expectations, it may bring more stress than comfort. Don't be afraid to ask yourself, are you living for joy and peace of mind, or merely existing out of fear of loneliness, habit, or a lingering sense of duty and obligation? Each person has their own story and their own circumstances. Some find peace in a close, committed relationship. Others discover freedom in solitude. But there is one undeniable truth. Old age should not be a time of endurance. It should be a season of slowing down, choosing what brings you joy, and prioritizing your emotions instead of constantly worrying about others. If your relationship makes you feel heavy, lost, or like you've lost yourself, pause and listen to your inner voice. You don't owe anyone the sacrifice of your later years just to maintain the appearance of companionship. Some people find peace in silence, in a quiet morning cup of tea, in owning every moment of their day without needing to explain it to anyone. Old age should be a gift, not a sentence. And you have every right to rewrite the final chapter of your life in a way that brings you the most peace. If what you've just watched sparked reflection or helped you see life more clearly, don't hesitate to comment below. Share a lesson that resonated with you from today's video, and, more importantly, tell us how you'll apply it in your daily life. Maybe it's a small change, a fresh perspective, or a new action you'll take, but that alone can be the first step toward living more deeply and fully. If you found this content meaningful, please give it a like to help it reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss future videos, where we'll continue to explore thoughtful, inspiring perspectives on life, aging, happiness, and inner freedom. You're also welcome to share this video with your loved ones, because just a few minutes of reflection may help someone see their life in a new light. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. See you again in future content, where every moment is a chance to live with more meaning.